Hey everyone, my name is Asta Chauhan. Welcome to the Tutorials Point. In the previous video, we have learned all about the PCA, Principal Component Analysis. And in this video, we are going to learn about anomaly detection. So let's see what's in for you in this video. So we are going to learn about what is anomalies, types of anomaly, why anomaly detection, and some common techniques in anomaly detection. So before moving to the anomaly detection, let's understand what are anomalies. Anomalies are the data points that stand out amongst all other data points in the dataset, and they do not confirm the normal behavior in the data. These data points or observations deviate from the normal behavioral pattern of the dataset. Let's understand anomaly with some examples. Let's say we have these two groups. If I ask you what is anomaly in the first group, then definitely this red color chair is an anomaly. Why? Because this chair is deviating from the normal color of all other chairs, that is blue in color, but this chair is red in color. So this red color chair is an anomaly. If I ask you what is anomaly in the second group, then definitely this elephant is an anomaly. Why? Because all other creatures are insect, but this elephant is an animal. Now next, let's move to the types of anomaly. So first type is point anomalies. Point anomalies are individual data instances that deviate significantly from the norm on their own. Let's understand this with this graph. So here are only 2 points that are outliers or an anomaly. That means they are deviating from the normal behavior of the data set. So this is an example of point anomalies. Next type of anomaly is contextual anomalies. Contextual anomalies are the instances that are considered anomalous only within a specific context or condition. Let's understand this with an example. Let's say we have months or time on the x-axis and monthly temperature on the y-axis. This much low temperature will be considered as normal in the month of January or December, as we have winter season in those months. But this much low temperature must be an anomaly in month of May, June or July, as we have summer season in those months. Now, next type is collective anomalies. Collective anomalies involve a group of data points that exhibits anomalous behavior when they are considered together, even if the individual point seems normal. Let's understand this with an example. Let's say we have a lab and we have many computers in that lab. If a single computer suddenly shut down, then that can be considered normal. But if all the computer systems shut down simultaneously, then that must be an anomaly, as it can be any kind of cyber attack or power station shutdown. Now, anomalies are some kind of defects or abnormal behavior. So, why we are detecting anomalies? Why anomaly detection? Let's understand this with some example. Let's say we have a card and only a specific amount of money is always credited from that credit card. But on some day, we detected some large amount of money is detected from that card. So it will generate a warning to the user and the bank, as it will help us in any kind of fraud case. Next example is of IP address. Let's say we have an organization and we always work on some regular IP addresses. But on some day we detected some unknown IP address. In that case, it will produce some warning so that we can prevent our organization from any kind of cyber attack or fraud. Now next, let's talk about the techniques that we use in anomaly detection. First one is isolation forest anomaly detection. Isolation forest is an unsupervised anomaly detection algorithm that uses a random forest algorithm, decision trees, under the hood to detect outliers in the dataset. The algorithm tries to split or divide the data points such that each observation gets isolated from the others. So basically, isolation forest is based on decision trees. We have learned about the decision trees in one of our previous video also. So you can refer to that video also. Now let's consider an isolation tree. So these data points are easier to isolate. So these data points are considered as outliers, as these data points have shorter path length, only 1-2 steps are there. So these data points are outliers. While these data points have large path length, so these data points are harder to isolate and considered as normal points or inliers. Now let's understand how isolation forest anomaly detection algorithm works. So this algorithm produces many isolated trees by selecting the features randomly and tries to split and isolate each data point and then calculate anomaly score for every data point. So for calculating the anomaly score, it uses the formula S, which is the function of x comma n, which is equals to 2 to the power minus ehx upon cn, where n is the number of data points, x is the data point for which we are calculating to determine whether the point x is an anomaly or not. Hx is the number of steps until the data instance x is fully isolated. EHX is the average of Hx from a collection of isolation trees, and Cn is the average depth of Hx. So if we have low anomaly score, generally near to 0.5, then the point will be considered as normal point. And if we have high anomaly score, generally near to 1, then the point will be considered as anomaly point or the outlier. Now the next technique is DBScan clustering. DBScan is a density-based and unsupervised machine learning algorithm. It takes multi-dimensional data input and cluster them according to the model parameters. For example, epsilon and minimum samples. Based on these parameters, the algorithm determines whether certain values in the dataset are outliers or not. So before understanding the DBScan clustering, let's understand the parameters of DBScan. First parameter is epsilon. Epsilon is nothing but it is the radius of the circle to be created around each data point to check the density. And second parameter is min points. Min points is the minimum number of data points required inside the circle for that data point to be classified as core point. Now let's understand the DBScan clustering working. So let's say we have min points value is equals to 5. So for the first circle which have some epsilon radius, so here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 points. That means this point is core point. For the second circle or the blue circle, we have 1, 2, 3. 3 points. That is less than min points. So this point will be considered as border point. And for the third circle or the red circle, we have no data point inside the circle. So this point will be considered as outlier. Now, here is a quiz for you all. What is the primary goal of anomaly detection? And the options are identifying outliers or unusual pattern in data, normalizing data for better visualization, increasing the complexity of machine learning models, or generating synthetic data points. If you know the answer, write down in the comment section, please. Now, the next technique is local outlier factor anomaly detection. LOF is a machine learning algorithm used for anomaly detection, specifically focusing on the identification of local anomalies within a dataset. Unlike global anomalies that deviate from the entire dataset, local anomalies are the points that deviate from their local neighborhood. The LOF algorithm is particularly useful when you want to detect anomalies that might be normal within a global context but are outliers within a local vicinity. Let's understand this with this graph. So here, these gray points are global outliers as they are deviating from whole dataset. But this purple point is deviating only from a specific group of data points. So this purple point is a local outlier for this group of data points. For detecting the global outliers, we can use other anomaly detection techniques, but for detecting local outlier, we use LOF, local outlier factor anomaly detection. Now let's understand how LOF works. So this is basically based on k nearest neighbor algorithm. We have discussed about KNN or k nearest neighbor in one of our previous video also. So you can refer to that video also. So in this case, let's say we have k is equals to 3 and a is the point for which we have to determine whether it is an local outlier or not. So for that, we will calculate the distances between this point and three near neighbor points. So, and after that, we will take the average of those three distances. And similarly, we will calculate the distances for this point to the next 3 points and take average of that. After that, we will compare the average distances for point A and other points. If the average distance for the point A is greater than the other points, then this point will be considered as local outlier. And if not, then it will be considered as normal point. So that was it for this video. We have already covered the supervised machine learning algorithm part, in which we have covered KNN, decision tree, linear regression, support vector machine, random forest, naive Bayes, logistic regression. And in unsupervised machine learning part, we have covered k-means clustering, hierarchical clustering, principal component analysis, anomaly detection in this video. And next we are going to cover association rule learning. So stay tuned with Tutorials Point. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.